All right, so you just got your Hornet HD, and you either have a DJI radio or you have another type of radio that you're going to use a standard receiver with. We're going to show you real quick how to get oriented with your Hornet HD, the way that we set them up out the box, specifically starting with the DJI radio. So first of all, anytime you're messing with your drone on the bench or it's not ready to go fly, take the props off. Especially with these micros, I know it's difficult to get all those screws out to take the props off, but don't get it on the bench and plug it in with the props on. So a couple of things you're going to want to notate. The way the battery is set in here is it's using the 3D printed strap. This 3D printed strap, you're just going to click in on one side, the one that has the two pieces, and then you're going to pull it over. Don't worry about breaking it really. It should be pretty strong. And you're going to basically strap that battery into where it doesn't really move very easily. And you're just going to select whichever one. You're just going to pull it over and drop it in there. Now, if you ever break this, lose this, or you just don't like it, which some people don't, bag of rubber bands is your friend. You will basically, same type of idea. You just double these over, and you can now strap the battery in using those ears. Bada bing, bada boom. So that's how you're going to get your battery in. Battery is going to be wires on the top, wires going backward, and that is so they can plug into the wire here in the back. You're going to want to always make sure that wire is in the back straight. If it doesn't have a zip tie already, we don't really like to put zip ties on it, and you're having an issue with that wire kind of getting out of position left or right and getting close to what is the prop, then you can go ahead and wrap a zip tie loosely around it. Don't put a zip tie super tight. Zip ties can easily break things if you tighten them down too much. So when you're ready to fly your drone, you're going to go ahead and plug it in. Make sure you get the polarity right. It technically will only fit one way, but you want to make sure you get that polarity right. You also should have already had your radio on, which I just turned on. Double tap on the DJI radio and hold until it comes on. Antennas not crossed over each other, kind of out. Always a good position. You'll see I have some rubber bands on my antennas. I keep on there just in case I lose them. So here's our stick orientation that we have set up out the box. On DJI radios, we use the SB for your arming button. So everything forward is off. Everything, whenever you come down, it's going to be on. So SB is going to arm the aircraft, which means the props or the motors will start to spin. You can see that there. The only other switch that you have really set up out the box is going to be the fourth channel, which is going to be SD. And it's a beeper that if the battery is connected, it will beep using the motors and the ESCs. Those are the only two switches we have set up out the box. If you do want to go set up horizon mode or angle mode, we would recommend setting it up on either SC, or you could also set it up on SA. The reason we like this switch here for our arming switch is because it's the easiest to let off the stick and reach for. This stick over here, depending on how you hold the radio, this switch back here is either difficult to reach or it's really easy and it already being really closely pushed. So this is our favorite stick for our arm. You can move it if you want, but that's up to you. Flight mode, again, easy to reach up, and while you're using the sticks, just flick the flight mode if you do it over here. So that's our orientation on the DJI radio. If you have a TBS Crossfire or some other receiver that you've ordered in yours, your radio is going to be set up different, and it's not going to be exactly like mine. However, my switches are set up for SA to be channel 1. So channel 1 would be your arming switch, much like on our DJI radio, pretty much the same position. And then again, channel 4, which for me is going to be the SG button, but you would have your radio set up with your mixers and your inputs however you do. So basically it's channel 1 is arm, channel 4 is beep. And then again, we would say flight mode either here or here would be what we would usually do. So that's the way that we're going to have our radio set up. Now that you have radio set up and all of that, just the last few things to just be aware of with your little micro drone. It is very, very capable of going very fast and taking off and moving in very agile directions, changing direction very quickly. Make sure when you first go fly this, especially if just starting to get started, you fly this in a very wide open area. Don't go being crazy with it and doing things thinking, oh, it's just a little micro drone. It can hurt somebody if you fly it into somebody. When you do disarm your aircraft, so whenever you land or crash, disarm your aircraft, set your radio down. Do not take your radio with you and bend over and have it hanging from your neck. Uh, Set it down, pick your drone up, take the battery, unplug the battery, and then you can pick your radio up. Always be really, really safe, even with these little micro drones. These props are really small and really can hurt. Just because they're small doesn't mean that they can't be sharp or really do some damage. So again, micro drones are just as dangerous as big drones. That being said, they can be a ton of fun. Last couple of tidbits on putting the props on and taking the props off. Prop orientation is standard orientation, which means that when it is on the shaft and in position, that the slope or the trailing edge of the prop, when they're going like this, the trailing edge should be facing outward. So on the front, they go out the trailing edge, and on the back, they go out towards the back, right? So again, the trailing edge, the thin edge that's on the low side goes outward, front to back. Make sure the nose that the prop's clear. Sometimes after a crash or just in general, even after shipping or just being in a bag, the nose here, like this one is actually a little crooked. And when it gets crooked, these props are right on the edge of clearing and they could just clip on the edge. And you definitely don't want it to clip the edge while you're flying. So when you first arm, be on the listen and be on the lookout, or keep your ears open for anything kind of hitting or clipping anything. You're definitely going to want to check that nose, and you're going to want to check keep that rear. Again, like I said, those rear power wires are the other main issue. That's the great thing about these little micros. They're easy and fun to fly, but they also require you being a little careful about how tight they are as far as builds. So after you have everything ready to go, you can go ahead and screw these screws into both of them all the way down. Check that both of them are tight. Don't over tighten. They just need to be, firmly tightened down. You should do it to all of them, and then once you have your props on, you're ready to put your battery back on, take it outside, put your battery on, start your radio and your goggles, and you can go fly. Hopefully this gets you kind of going as far as what to do or how to feel comfortable with it whenever you first get it. If you have any questions, just don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help.